You've heard of Castle Huning in the Huning Highlands. Franz Huning came from Germany to America, and he was one of our founding fathers for Albuquerque commerce. One of the interesting things about his burial here in Historic Fairview Cemetery is he was originally interred on the grounds of Castle Huning. And when that was knocked down, destroyed, his body and his wife's body were disinterred, sent to Denver to be cremated, and then returned. And so this was in the early 1900s. So cremation was not quite so common as it is these days. And so having gone to Denver, been cremated, had the remains returned, and are now interred over in this area of Historic Fairview Cemetery. Our next speaker is Mary Woods, and her story is titled Prince Matchabelli.
My mother died in July of the year 2000 at the age of 81. She had an autoimmune disease, and a tiny infection raced through her bloodstream and took her peacefully in her sleep. It was a shock for me and my siblings. She had gone into a nursing facility for a temporary stay to stabilize some health issues. She was expected to return home in a week. At the time, I was living halfway across the country from my childhood home and had not been able to visit her in that last year, though I did speak with her on the phone a few days before she died. Of course, we didn't expect that she was leaving, but the death was unexpected and a shock to me and the family, and we certainly had not had time to say goodbye. About a year and a half later, on a chilly March morning, I think she sent me a message to let me know she was all right. We were good. On that morning, in my home in the Colorado mountains, my cat woke me at dawn to be let outside. I stood in the doorway with the door open and felt the fresh air on my face. March in the Rockies is still quite cold, but the air just had that little hint of spring coming. And then I was aware of the scent of perfume, which seemed to come from a place beside me. It seemed warm, as though it emanated from a person, not a scent carried on cold air. A person a little shorter than I. And I recognized the scent, but I couldn't name it. So I stood there for minutes, mystified by this perfume encounter, and tried to think of the name of it. But then the cat came in, and I had to shut the door and get ready for work. Later, as I was bathing, a song came into my head. I can't seem to forget you. Your wind song stays on my mind. That was the 1960s commercial jingle for the Prince Matchabelli perfume, Wind Song. And I realized that that was the scent that I caught on the breeze. I had not smelled that perfume in years. I had not even thought of that perfume in years. Now the thing is, at Christmas and on their anniversary, my father would give my mother one of her two favorite perfumes, Chanel No. 5. It was special, and it was kind of expensive. But throughout my childhood, for Mother's Day and her birthday, my brothers and I always made a gift of her other favorite perfume, Wind Song, which you could buy in the drugstore, and was inexpensive. She used to put a few drops of perfume on a lace handkerchief, which she kept in her purse. So she was always redolent of one perfume or the other. I have had other moments since her passing when I felt my mother very close. But I believe she contacted me on that day to console me, to let me know I was not alone, that we will always be connected. And the suggestion that I would not forget her, and she had not abandoned me, through the message of a perfume jingle still makes me smile. Another odd detail I discovered via Google, that Prince Matchabelli was a real prince, not a marketing fiction. He was a prince of Georgia in the Russian Empire before the Revolution. He was also an amateur chemist. He emigrated to the United States and he established the Prince Matchabelli Perfume Company in 1926 in New York, when my mother, a little girl in Brooklyn and the daughter of immigrants, was about 7 years old. It seems that the vintage Matchabelli perfume bottle, shaped like a crown that I remember from my childhood, was based on the actual Matchabelli crown. Possibly their only connection. I can't seem to forget you. Your wind song stays on my mind.
Thank you to these companies and organizations that make the Before I Die New Mexico Festival possible. A good goodbye. Gail Rubin puts the fun in funeral planning. Compassion and choices, improving care, expanding options, and empowering everyone to chart their end-of-life journey. Daniel's Family Funerals and Cremations, Fairview Memorial Park, Gabaldon Mortuary, SANDIA Memory Gardens, and Vista Verde Memorial Park, all in the Albuquerque area. Estate Pros, offering professional dispersal of personal possessions due to a move, illness, or death. The Final Exit Network, educating about and defending the right to choose at end of life. French Funerals and Cremations and Sunset Memorial Park in Albuquerque. Gathering Us, providing in-person and virtual memorial services and online memorial pages. Keeper, providing hybrid and virtual memorial services and keeping memories alive with online tributes to preserve, celebrate, and share life legacies. Morris Hall, estate planning attorneys in New Mexico and Arizona. Remembering a Life, your guide to honoring a life well lived, from planning a tribute to mourning a loved one. And Retirement Extender, investment management services with a personalized strategy recommendation based on your needs and objectives.